I used to have people come up to me and say, JR, I figured out what you do. You brainwash people, and you're brainwashed. Wow. You know, it kind of took me back. I thought the person respected me. No, you're right. You're definitely brainwashing. You brainwash other people. Holy, you know. I said, started thinking about it. I said, you know what? Maybe he's right. And I told him, I said, you know what? I've been thinking about it. You're right. You're brainwashed to be miserable and discourage other people, okay, and to be unhappy. I'm brainwashed to help people, to make money, to live life, and to succeed. We're all brainwashed to be whatever we are brainwashed to be. You are brainwashed to be exactly what you are right now. And I'll prove it to you. If I sit you down and work with you and say, Tom, you can be a field vice president this year. Well, you might believe it. But 90% of the people that I sit down and talk to, I said, you can do better. Let me show you what you can do. You can set records. You can do. They said, oh, no, I can't. You can make $500,000 per year. Oh, how's that? I can't do it. You can do more each day. Let me show you how to organize your day. Oh, man, I'm busy. I got this. When we tell somebody they can do better, and we support them and say, I'm going to help you, you need to open up your eyes. You're greater than you think. God made no junk. You're great. They argue with you that they're not. They're brainwashed. Do you understand that? Well, JR, look at you now. Because you bump into people from a long time ago, you know, that didn't get in. And look at you now. Wow, you sure are riding high. You know, all your cars and boats and big meetings, and you sure are a big shot. I remember you when you were nothing. So, you know, I said, well, you know, it's really working. Why don't we get together? No, that was a long time ago. You know, I'm not doing other stuff, you know, and I, you know, just have a lot of excuses, I guess, you know. But you're lucky. You are so lucky. Now, when they're educated and affluent, they say you are fortuitous. You're fortuitous, lucky. And you know what I told the guy after thinking about it? You know what? You're absolutely right. I am so lucky that I didn't listen to your ass. You know? Now, I'm going to teach you how to program your brain right now. And this is exactly what I did with Elizabeth Weber and maybe Pam and Tony and some of the other crew when we worked together every day. It was kind of like an invisible process, but they followed along, and I think that it worked. I don't take any credit for their success other than affecting them mentally because they worked very hard. And everything that they did, they earned, and they did it on, you know, on their own volition. But so did a lot of other people who didn't make it. And so did a lot of other people who gave up. The difference was we programmed their brain. Now, the problem with self-help and motivational seminars and personal development, you know, from Tony Robbins to Les Brown, and believe me, I steal all their material and believe in them and love them. They inspire the hell out of me. But the problem is that people leave all vibrated, all cranked up, but they have no way to turn it into making money if they don't have a vehicle. Hopefully they're inspired enough to go find one. But that's quite a process. Do you understand that? It is hard to find something that'll work. And, you know, when you're in the unfranchised, it's kind of funny because you didn't have to pay a lot to get in it. You can just disappear and nobody ever notices. But when you do another type of business and it doesn't work or you don't make it work, you go bankrupt. You understand that? I wish you would treat it like that because the potential of it is much higher. 95% fail. Now, here's the thing that I find very interesting when I go to program your brain. You'll have an extreme advantage over anybody else because you have a vehicle or a way with the unfranchised to get immediate traction. The rubber hits the road to immediately make money. And if there's something else in your dreams or that you're inspired to do or another type of business, this is a beautiful way to start because you don't need any money, and you will develop a residual income. And you can go back and be an artist. You can go chase, some, dream that you had to be a missionary. You can do anything because you got the time. You can go start another business because residual income gives you control over your income and your time and freedom. So there's nothing better to put your time in to if you're looking for a way to make it. That's the point. But to make it, you have to program the brain, and that will guarantee it. So a lot of you get in a business, but that might not happen. But let's remember, we all have an equal amount of time. Obviously, Elizabeth did something different than you. I know what she did because I watched day by day. You understand this? Are you listening to me? What is the difference between you and her? Well, it was really programming the brain because you both had 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 4 weeks a month, 12 months a year. Isn't that true? What do you do with your time? I'm going to ask it again. What do you do with your time? Because it's going to run out and you're going to end up there, right? And we got to get it in before that happens, and we have to live all of our dreams before they shut the casket and influence a lot of other people that now are able to live their dreams. So we know this is the formula. This is all we got, right? We got to make more out of it, okay? So when you get into Market America, now a lot of people are wondering, why does one person succeed, another person has a great retail business but not a residual income? Some people don't make anything. Some people make a little. I'm going to tell you the answer. Market America and our unfranchised concept is unlimited, but it's like a fluid. It's a substance. It's real. Although you don't go to an office, you don't have, a job or punch in, or it's invisible, isn't it? And it's in your head, but it's real. It's technology behind it. It's intangible, but it's real. Okay, it's like a vessel, a container. Market America is a container when you take it on. And the container is what you see it as being, how you think of it, what you want it to be, how you identify with it. So Elizabeth saw it as a $1 million business with, huge residual income. Somebody else says, I'm going to do it my own way, and it's a container with a mess of holes in it. Somebody else just wants to make a little, and they got a teacup. Now, think about this. Unlimited amount of Market America fluid or liquid. It'll go into any container that comes into the business. And you pour it in, and it becomes exactly what the container is. All the time. 100% of the time, of everybody who's ever come in, it has become them. Become what they see it as, what they define it as, how they treat it. Is this making any sense to you? So whatever it becomes is your container, and therefore your choice and your fault. You can change the container, but we have to think differently. So it's like this, show it. So you see, go ahead with the video. If you look up there, there's all different types of containers. And there's Elizabeth's container, a water tower. And there's JR's container. But it doesn't matter. Each one of you are different. And what you see Market America as and how you treat it is your container. And it'll become exactly that. Do you believe that? You understand that? That's big. So you need to define in your mind what you really want it to be. And it automatically becomes that. This is a secret, guys. You are the container. It'll become exactly what you think. Big. I hope that you take that one home with you. Okay. So, when I was 21, I was sold a tape. Because, I mean, it was a long time ago. $10, it's probably $40 today. And I had to reach deep in my pocket to get it, and it was by Earl Nightingale, and it was The Strangest Secret. They told me to listen to it because it was going to tell me the secret to success. And it was basically the common golden thread that ran through everybody who made it. And this tape went on and on and on and on, talking about all these people that made it and making points about it. I said, well, you get to the point, I want to know what the strangest secret is. Finally, at the end, he says, the strangest secret is that you become what you think about all the time. I said, that couldn't possibly be true, or I'd be a girl. You know? But at 21. But it is true that our predominant thinking is what we become, whether you like it or not. Now, the genesis of Market America is proof of it, because this was all in our mind, and I was fed up and saw a better way and couldn't sleep at night, always thinking about what could be done. How could I solve the problems of an industry? And it crystallized in my mind, and we worked on these ideas. So you see, it just didn't pop in. We were inspired. I was inspired about a vision and thought about it and worked on it, and it started to materialize. Now, if I was thinking about other things or complaining or making excuses, it probably would never have happened. So my point is this. Every single one of you are brainwashed to be exactly what you are right now. You can call it programmed if you want. You can call it conditioned if that makes you feel better. But fundamentally, you have been programmed or brainwashed to be what you are and do what you do right now. The good news is you can be reprogrammed. And you have a vehicle when other people don't. They got to go find one. Is this making sense to you? So everybody has excuses. I don't have any money. That's your programming. Don't ever say that. Read Catherine Ponder's books, Prosperity Statements. I'm a child of the universe, and there's plenty coming to me. I have a great idea and a great ambition, and I know God will fund my success. There's 100 of them. Well, you never think that way, because you're going to get that. You say, my wife is negative. You really convinced yourself of that, didn't you? Yeah, she's against the business, against everything that I do, gives me a hard time. Let me tell you something. Your wife isn't negative. She's extremely positive. She's positive that you've been a fool your whole life. And that if you would go out and make some green stuff for a change, instead of making excuses, she would really get behind you. Is this making sense to you? Oh, my friend said it was like a pyramid and such. Do you understand what one of those are? We're not in Egypt. But by the way, I've never seen a pyramid on paper. It's a triangle. You flunk geometry. Well, let me tell you where the pyramid is. It's the point on the top of your head. But I'm going to do moving up seminars and teach you how to handle these type of things. So you're not walking around scared and not knowing what to say. so that you know the truth and the whole truth, so help you God. And so that you can stand up on your own feet and be proud and explain to people why this is the best thing out there, why it's not just network marketing. You need the answers, don't you? Because you need confidence. But we got to program your brain before I do that. I'm not smart. I say, man, that's your greatest asset. Some of the people that have the most problems with this are the really smart people, because they spend all their time figuring out how everything won't work. You know anybody like that? You know, man, I don't know anyone. What? I don't know anyone. So what are you going to do when you die? It takes 6 people to carry you and a lawyer. It takes 6 people to die, you can find 2 people to live. You know? Stop making excuses. You know? Spend some time with me, and boy, I eliminate them, and that's programming your brain. You know? You need to take a mental vacation from people who negatively affect your thinking. How come you don't see me anymore? Because you're negative, and I'm going to succeed, and I have to take a mental vacation. When I make it, I'll come back and see you, and I'll take you out to dinner or do something nice for you. So, listen to this. If I'm going to help you, you have to understand something. I understand you have a lot of hopes, dreams, fears, anxieties. You don't know if you can do everything that I'm talking about. We'll teach you how to do it. We'll do it with you. But you need to understand something. You're brainwashed to be exactly what you are, and you have exactly what you have right now because you're brainwashed to be that. You know, I don't like it and deserve better, and I'm going to change that starting right now. So I want you to say this with me, because this is the truth. And if you can't say the truth to yourself, okay, and if you're very successful, it's the same answer. Ready? I am brainwashed to be exactly what I am and have right now. I don't like it and deserve better. And I am going to change that starting now. Okay? Word now. Ooh, that goes in the brain. You say that every day? Okay? Now, the hardest prison to get out of is your own mind. The hardest prison to get out of is your own mind, and you have to go out of your mind to find yourself. So I'm going to help you do that. But, you know, it's later than you think, so we got to get started as soon as possible. You can't take a week, a month. You have to start doing this, you know, right away. So I'm going to show you how we do it. So you have the advantage because you already have a business. Do you realize what it takes to start a real business? My point is right here is this. You are very advantaged, very lucky. You have a business that can beat any other brick and mortar traditional business, earn more money, and we took the barriers out of it. It doesn't depend on the size of your bankroll, your education, your connections, okay? All you need to do is have a little sweat equity, and you can make more than in one of these hotshot businesses, brick and mortar. Oh, I own the car dealership. I own the restaurant. What you got is a nightmare and an expensive job. You pay $500,000 for a business that basically is based on 5 times the net. If you make $100,000, that costs you $500,000, and you got all of these problems. And I got a miracle. None of those problems. I have it in my head, and backed by technology, products, systems, and an incredible pay plan. So it's all about residual income. It is the top of the economic ladder. to put time into something once, not exchange time for money, and have it pay you forever by what you create. It's usually only reserved for the elite and the wealthy and the privileged. But we made it for the average person. And we can absolutely amaze people. You know? So that billionth of a volt has to go off. And Princeton University, they have a department of psychokinesis. They released a report, and they figured out that it takes 1 billionth of a volt to make up your mind. You ever hear people say, I made up my mind, I changed my mind. I have a new mindset. It really is true. You can change your mind, you can make up your mind. And when that billionth of a volt snaps across your cerebral cortex, it changes who you are. And we got to make that thing snap. And that's what starts to make your identity. You say, who are you? What are you about? Most people don't know. Why are you doing the business? What is your why? Do you have a reason? See, because most people are just entertained and go through life listening to gossip, complaining, and nothing in their mind is about where they can go or what they can be. Isn't that true? And this is what comes down to your identity. What are you? Like a lot of people don't make a lot of money at the business. But in their mind, oh, I'm in that thing. I do market America. But see, a person that's making it, they're a 2 to 3 year planner. Their identity is, I'm a director, I'm a field vice president, I'm a 2 to 3 year planner. Get out of my way. I'm tearing this thing up. They reek of it. And that's what you got to become. Look what it gives you. You know? I love the story, I think Tony Robbins is the one that advanced it, of the scorpion and the frog, because this demonstrates identity. You're not going to change what you do by trying. Listen to me. You have to change your identity of who you are, what you're about, what your mission is, what your why is. Because that changes your brain. It really does. It's scientifically proven. And the reason I'm here and this company got started and Lauren and I have done well is not because we're any better than you or any good. We're just as average as can be. It's all because of our thinking every day, every minute, and our vision and our dream and what occupies our mind. I wish I could convince you of that. The only difference. And everything that happened as a reflection of our brain. You know? So the scorpion is on the riverbank, and the little frog says, man, you know, how you doing? The scorpion said, my family's on the other side of the riverbank. They are screaming for me. I have to see them. We've been separated so long. Can I jump on your back and you swim across and I'll see them? I'll be forever grateful. He said, I ain't doing that because scorpions sting frogs. He said, come on, I wouldn't do that. I got to see my family and we'll be out in the middle of the river and I'll drown. That makes no sense whatsoever. Frog said, I guess that does make sense. Trusting. So the scorpion hopped on his back. He swam across the river, almost got to the other bank so he could go see his family, and the scorpion started stinging him. You know, the frog going down, you know, one breath, two breaths. Why'd you do that? You know, you promised you wouldn't. You killed me, and you're not going to get to see your family and drown. He says, that's because that's what scorpions do. They sting frogs. That's identity. You understand it? So you see, we need to change our identity, define our identity, harness our emotions. Emotions are tied in our brain to a perception. When this happens, I feel this way. When somebody says no, I feel defeated, depressed. Does that happen to you? You have to redefine the connection between the emotion and the definition of your perception. So when somebody says no to me, I don't feel down or defeated because I explained it to myself differently. Thank God they weren't interested because they weren't qualified. I don't got to waste any time with them. They weren't interested. I said, it's a shame. Timing's everything. I'm glad I'm not going to talk to them now because the timing isn't right and they're mentally constipated at the moment. I'll continue making a friend with them. So I don't feel down at all. Do you get that? Do you understand that? Your emotions are tied to a feeling, and your feelings are what rule your behavior. So when you have bad emotions or good emotions, you can always tie them to a feeling. And so your identity is going to drive your behavior. You know, you can't quit smoking. You got to become a non-smoker. You can't lose weight. You got to become a healthy, thin person. You'll always be putting it back on. So change your thinking. You keep thinking the same way, you're going to get the same result. Remember the container? You got the same container. A market in America, you'll stay in it. It'll fill the container. You'll get the same result because you didn't change your thinking. So in order to change your thinking, you have to take some time and think. Not rush through day after day, passing by, heading towards the end of that dash, the second number. You got to stop. You do the same thing, nothing will change. Figure out who you are and what you want. No use programming you without putting the most speed, RAM, ROM in the computer that you're going to get.